Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. Today's video is a bit special, as this one is a theory review, as in one of you guys, specifically Jeremiah Ortiz, who has been a very constant commenter on the channel, has recently asked me a question about, well, Hawkmoth. And more specifically, will Hawkmoth be creating a team? Now, there are a few things to actually note about this. Specifically, we know that already Hawkmoth has kind of been working with a few specific people. Obviously, he has Natalie, who is the user of the Peacock Miraculous, but that's currently the only Miraculous he has. Which is also another thing to keep in mind, is the fact that recently he has been going to New York and Shanghai specifically to be getting a Miraculous. Or at least that's what I'm imagining are the two reasons why he's going to these locations. Now, the problem is that we currently don't know too much about his plans. What is he planning? Is he planning to destroy all of them? Or is he planning to get some Miraculouses to give to teammates? Obviously, Natalie is currently his teammate, but he does have two other people who are kind of in a bit of a gray area. Lila is someone who absolutely will 100% be on Hawkmoth's side because she absolutely despises both Marinette and Ladybug, who happen to be the same person, and meanwhile she loves Gabriel and Hawkmoth, who are also the same person. This is one of the biggest reasons why I do 100% believe that she is going to be eventually the new Hawkmoth. How exactly that's going to happen, we currently don't know. But we do know a few things that are likely to actually take place beforehand. And that is that Lila and Chloe, because Chloe is also kind of on Hawkmoth's side, these two are likely already members of Hawkmoth's team. But the problem is that he doesn't have a Miraculous Box. Basically a way to give them powers without necessarily akumatizing them over and over and over again. The simple fact is that the two of them are pretty much akumatized. Anytime that they get akumatized, they break the object, and then they're back to normal. It honestly would make a lot of sense if they actually gave them a Miraculous Jewel. But unfortunately, there aren't any that Hawkmoth has access to. Or maybe he will. As I mentioned before, I do think that there is going to be a Miraculous Jewel in Shanghai. And one of the things that was specifically mentioned to me by Jeremiah is the Dark Miraculous Box, which I have talked about in multiple videos. Basically, these are going to be classic monster Miraculouses. Maybe there will be a rat and a spider in there as well, because, well, creepy creatures, as well as there's probably a bat one, which is going to change the person into Dracula, and so on and so forth. Several others that are kind of in a similar boat. Basically, these are Miraculouses that have dark powers, and basically they're all about dark ideas. And because of that, these Miraculouses are extremely dangerous and usually are not well kept with the rest of the Miraculouses. And oftentimes they've actually ended up in the wrong hands. And I actually think that that's actually pretty likely to be what is going to be happening in Shanghai. Basically, in the next little while, we will be actually seeing the Shanghai special. And honestly, I'm really excited to see how that's going to be playing out. But then he can give those two Miraculouses if he does get the Dark Miraculous box. But then other Miraculouses can make their way to other villains, specifically a certain Doctor and a certain Monsieur Rat. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that those are gonna be pretty important, and those are probably from the Dark Miraculous box. So there's that. But on top of that, that would probably be a box that Lila would probably be taking control of once Hawkmoth gets arrested and put in jail permanently. While several of the Miraculouses are taken by Marinette to then be protected by her, and then eventually dished out to people who are actually worthy of them and can actually counteract the darkness of those Miraculouses. For now, we honestly don't know. But it's definitely a possibility. But there was a second part to this little theory. And that is that Hawkmoth is going to be getting some spies in the normal Miraculous team. Specifically, two people who are probably the easiest to actually take control of. Now, the simple fact of the matter is that Hawkmoth doesn't know much about many of the different people who are holders of the Miraculouses. He has akumatized all of them, but the simple fact is that he doesn't know of good ways to actually take advantage and hurt them. Specifically, Alya and Nino, really they're kind of each other's, but they are also willing to stand up and they'll fight and want the other to fight if Hawkmoth tries to threaten one of them. So he can't really attack them. Max, really the only person that's important to him is his mom currently, which Hawkmoth doesn't really know much about. And Kim is also a bit of a weird situation where Hawkmoth has no idea who the frell he is. But then there is Kagami and Luca. That is where things get interesting. He knows actually a lot more about them than you may think. Luca is a bit of a different situation, but Kagami is extremely well known about by, well, Gabriel. And Luca will likely be well known because of the fact that Marinette is going to be traveling with them most likely during the Shanghai special, and she's probably going to be mentioning Luca at some point. Or something along those lines, or maybe Adrian is going to mention it. We'll see. There's a few things to think about. But basically, what he's going to do is, because he knows that those two are holders of the Miraculouses, what he will do is he will force them to get information from Ladybug and Cat Noir. And if they don't, then he is going to hurt Marinette and Adrian, which, as far as he knows, he can hurt them very easily. With Adrian, all he has to do is lock him up and say that Kagami will never see him again. With Marinette, he might be willing to go a little bit further and a more permanent solution. So, definitely something to look out for in the future. I doubt that the series is going to get that dark, but it's definitely something to think about and just be aware of that he would probably go that far. Just knowing what we know about him. But on top of that, there's also the fact that, well, Marinette and is kind of a klutz. But there's a lot of things about that. And basically, what he's going to do is he might give them their own Miraculouses, own Dark Miraculouses, that they will basically be holding on to as basically a way to report to Hawkmoth and serve him. And also, it will distract them so that they can't be bringing in Viperion and Ryukyu. Instead, Marinette and Adrian are forced to become Dragonbug and Snake Noir. Which, honestly, would be a good reason to actually introduce those things. But unfortunately, we're just going to have to wait and see what exactly is going to be happening there. And honestly, I'm really, really excited to see if these theories do come to pass. The simple fact of the matter is that Marinette and Adrian are going to be perfectly fine. And eventually they are going to have to take Hawkmoth down. But the other thing is that Hawkmoth is kind of outnumbered at this point. While he is hidden, once he's no longer hidden, how is he going to stand up against Marinette and Adrian? He needs a way to actually be able to handle them, and creating a team is probably the best option for him. While it's not the best option for us, and we'll probably be very upset in the future to see Marinette and Adrian losing Kagami and Luca, it's definitely something to look forward to and see how things are going to play out. And also, it will be a great chance for us to actually get a certain reveal sooner than we expect. But honestly, we're going to have to wait and see. And honestly, I have no idea how things are going to play out. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you think that he is going to form his own team with these 6 people and maybe more, specifically Monsieur Rat? Or do you think that there's going to be something completely different? Definitely let me know. Also, if you have your own theories that you would like me to talk about in the future, then definitely leave them down in the comments below, and just make sure to say somewhere in your comment theory review so I can talk about them in a future video. And of course, if you did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and ring that notification bell. And if you want to support the channel even more, then definitely head down to the description and check out all of our links down there, including our social medias, and ways that you can support us financially, including our Patreon, which a big thank you to our current patron, Sheeny. But anyways, guys, I've been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Badon!